Paso A Paso Podcast.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Paso A Paso Podcast. My name is Miles and thanks for joining us today. This is a part 2, as we often do on this series, because there's so much to share in the world of early childhood and all of the work being done, as well as hearing from children in this episode, which is long overdue. So as we begin this episode, it might make sense to introduce ourselves once again for those who hadn't heard the previous episode. Would you like to start with yourself, Allie?
Hello, my name is Alison McDonald. I'm the pre-K teacher at UNM Taos Kids Campus.
Thank you. And Taylor?
Hi, I'm Taylor Etchemendy, and I'm the director at Inspire in Taos.
And on the phone, we have Helen. Helen, would you like to introduce yourself again and share a little bit about what we're going to be discussing today?
Good morning. Yes, my name is Helen McDonald, and I'm Center Director and Teacher at La Casita Parent Co-op Preschool in Santa Fe, New Mexico. And we're going to be talking a little bit today about the Hero Study. We've been doing a collaborative study on the idea of the hero with young children in 3 early childhood programs in New Mexico. So we're going to be sharing a little bit about our adventure in that study.
Wonderful. And so since on this episode we are going to allow some time and share with our listeners the voices and activities of the young children you all work with, what would you like to share before they hear those voices and projects with our listeners here?
For those of you who heard the last podcast, we were talking about the Collaborative Teachers Institute, or CTI. A couple months ago, Taylor, Helen, and I decided that we wanted to do a collaborative study across our 3 centers. And we decided to look at children as heroes. We had been seeing we've been doing a lot of work in all 3 of our centers around the pandemic, but we really didn't want to highlight the pandemic as much as we wanted to highlight how amazing children have been during this pandemic. They have adapted to a whole new world in ways that many adults can't adapt. Children have been truly heroic during this time. They have brought joy to all of us, and we really wanted to highlight that. So we wanted to help look at this idea of a hero. And as we all know, children play superheroes all the time, and they're fascinated with it. They're fascinated with their superpowers and how they can, fight bad guys. And we were seeing a lot of that play in our centers, but we wanted to highlight how they are heroes. So we all kind of started at a little bit of a different place, depending on the context that was happening in our classroom before. But we wanted children to think about themselves and the people around them as being heroic. So we each kind of dove into this study with children. And one of the ways that I started was by reading the book Heroes Are Everywhere by our Vice President, Kamala Harris, and asking children to think about heroes that they knew in their lives. And immediately they were talking about their parents, their moms, their dads, the simple things like, my mom is a hero because when I fell down and hurt my knee, she put a Band-Aid on. So we looked at this for a long time in my classroom about everyday heroes. We also thought about community heroes, which is something that we had looked at earlier in the year. Then we started to ask children about how they were heroes. And this definitely they saw themselves as heroes. They knew they were heroes, but it took a little bit of prompting to ask the right questions, what are the actions that make you a hero? And a lot of them, we had to kind of think about how the actions that they do in their classroom and at home make them heroic. And it definitely was a shift in thinking for them to think about superheroes versus everyday heroes and then think about themselves as heroes. But as soon as children started thinking about themselves as heroes, they were also able to identify their friends as heroes. So it really created this beautiful culture in our classrooms of kindness and being a good friend, and that by being a good friend and helping somebody, that made you a hero. So it's been a powerful study, and we're excited to share our work with you.
Thanks. Helen or Taylor, is there anything you'd like to add to that?
I think this has just been a beautiful way to celebrate children's and family strengths, and how beautifully everyone has really done in terms of making the best of circumstances during the pandemic. I think also, as Ali mentioned, it's been beautiful in terms of identifying the classroom culture and really acknowledging the strengths that are there. One of the questions we kind of came to is, what makes your friend a hero? And the kids have really enjoyed identifying the things they like about their friends and their friends' strengths. And those conversations are just good for everybody. It's really positive.
Thank you.
Yeah, I echo all that both Ali and Helen have shared. But, what was profound to me is that we all entered into this study in a different place. But there are so many intersections that we discovered through diving into looking at the children's work and thinking about it. And something that ended up being, that kind of place of intersection is that highlighting kind of the social emotional awareness of children. And they're connecting heroes and hero moments to feelings and to interactions and to kindness and helping others, and how transformative just having those conversations has been in the classroom culture itself, and acknowledging each other as heroes and themselves, in addition to their teachers and their families. We have children who they're like, oh, that was a hero moment, in the classroom when somebody does something kind for someone else or acknowledges a feeling. Like, I'm having a hero moment because I feel sad, but my friend made me feel better. Things like that. And it's been just such a pleasure and a joy to hear children's thinking. And we were kind of surprised. We thought that they were going to go more in the superhero direction because of technology and media. But really, they went to this place of identifying themselves, friends, and family because of interactions and the power of helping one another.
Wow. Helen, or any of you, is there anything else we should share before we do hear from the children themselves?
I think I just wanted to I was thinking as Taylor was talking about how, gratitude practices really change the brain. And this is really, I'm recognizing as we're talking about it, it's a gratitude practice. And that really helps rewire the neural network, in terms of finding strengths and creating resilience and giving those wonderful feelings that are so affirming for everybody.
Yeah, that's a great point. Thank you so much, Helen. Well, I'm excited to hear from the children, and thanks for all of your documentation that allows us to do this. And anything else before we get listening? No?
The children's words will speak for themselves. They're incredible.
Wonderful. And as always, for those who may not have heard the last episode, if you have an interest in learning more about this work or have any questions or thoughts or want to reach out to any of our guests today, please feel free to send an email to pasotaos@gmail.com. That's pasotaos@gmail.com, or visit pasotaos.org. And let's get listening to the youth. Here we go.
Garnet, what's the difference between a superhero and an everyday hero?
Because everyday heroes, sometimes they die and superheroes don't die.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. So a superhero can't die, but an everyday hero can die?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because superheroes fight bad people. And I wish I had Batman in my world.
You wish you had Batman in your world? Yeah. Do you know somebody, an everyday hero that protects people?
Rosa Parks.
Who?
Rosa Parks.
Rosa Parks. She protected people, didn't she? Yeah. What did she do to protect people?
She cleaned up so the bad people can be in the front of the bus and the white people can be in the front of too.
Yeah, that's very important, right? That everybody gets to sit where they want on the bus, right? No matter who they are. Very important.
If they black or white.
if they're black or white. It's true. So was Rosa Parks a superhero?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And she was also what kind of hero? Everyday hero, yeah. Everyday hero. Thank you, Garnet. Adrian, tell me about your picture.
So that's her hair, that's her smiley face, that's her eyes, that's her nose. And this is the bandage, this is her arm, that's her hand, and that's her arm, and that's her hand, and this is her dress and lovely.
Yeah.
And these are her legs, and these are her shoes,
And who is that?
my mom.
How is your mom a hero?
Because she put my band-aids on.
She puts your band-aids on. Very nice. Okay, Ricky, tell me.
Here's my mom, and here's the person who's driving the bus.
Okay. And how is your mom a hero?
Because she serves us food.
Because she serves us food. She serves people. She helps people. That makes her a hero.
Because other people don't go to the bus to get food. So she brings the food to them.
Very nice.
Okay. Ellie, who's a hero for you?
My dad.
What makes your dad a hero?
Play at the playground.
He plays on the playground with you.
No, he doesn't. He just lets me go.
He lets you play on the playground. Thanks for sharing. Sophia, what about for you? Who's a hero for you?
Today, Salome and Sienna and Ellie and Eva.
Your friends are your heroes. What makes them heroes?
Well, because everyone is heroes because they love each other.
They were kind to each other. Thanks for sharing. What about you, Sienna?
My grandpa is a hero because he's funny and I love him and he's like very nice to me.
Thanks for sharing.
And also Sophia's a hero and Eva and Shane and Ellie and Sonny.
Everybody
and
here.
Eva.
All of your friends. What makes your friends heroes?
Because they're kind.
Because they're kind. Anyone else want to share about a hero in their life? Teddy.
I love my mom and my dad and Eva and Shane
What makes them heroes to you?
because they always be kind to me and help me.
And they help you. That's wonderful.
They're superheroes with me.
They're superheroes to you. What about you, Eva?
So Teddy, Ellie, Salome, and Sienna are my heroes because I feel safe with them and they help me be brave and they're always really kind and ready to help a friend.
Wow.
Just like she said, heroes, everyday heroes, help her feel brave, and much more. Who are everyday heroes to you? Is it a concept you've thought of before? It hasn't been something I've thought about before, and this might be a fine example of the way in which early childhood educators help us all think a little bit more deeply about the world that surrounds us and how we interact with it. Hope you've enjoyed this episode. Thank you so much to our special guests. Thank you to KNCE for airing these on the air, and thanks to all of our podcast listeners as well. Feel free to subscribe, Paso A Paso Podcast, or you can search Paso Taos on your favorite podcasting app to hear our 35-plus episodes.
Paso A Paso Podcast.